Narcissists thrive on conflict, manipulation, and emotional reactions. They have an innate ability to pull people into their drama, making it seem like direct confrontation is the best approach. However, calling them out directly often leads to more harm than good. Instead of exposing their behavior in a way that triggers their defensiveness, stepping back and choosing a different approach is far more effective. This strategy requires emotional intelligence, patience, and wisdom, but it ultimately leads to a healthier outcome for you. When dealing with a narcissist, the first thing to understand is that they are experts at shifting blame. They rarely, if ever, take responsibility for their actions. The moment you call them out, they will find a way to turn the situation around and paint themselves as the victim. This is why direct confrontation often fails. It gives them an opportunity to manipulate the narrative and make you look like the aggressor. Instead of engaging in this game, the wiser choice is to disengage. Disengaging does not mean ignoring the problem or allowing the narcissist to continue harming you. It means choosing not to react in a way that fuels their power. Narcissists feed off emotional reactions, whether it's anger, frustration, or even desperation. When they see that they can provoke you, they feel in control. By stepping back, you take away their ability to manipulate your emotions. This does not mean being passive, it means strategic. One way to step back effectively is by controlling your responses. Narcissists expect to fight when they provoke you. They thrive on arguments because it gives them the opportunity to dominate the conversation. Instead of engaging in heated exchanges, practice the art of non-reactivity. A simple response such as, "I see your perspective," or "I'm not going to argue about this," can completely disarm them. When they realize that they cannot get an emotional reaction out of you, they will often lose interest in the conflict. Another key aspect of stepping back is recognizing that not every battle is worth fighting. A narcissist will try to bait you into unnecessary arguments, make unfair accusations, or twist your words. If you engage every time they provoke you, you will be constantly exhausted, frustrated, and emotionally drained. Instead, pick your battles wisely. Ask yourself, will arguing with this person lead to any meaningful change, or will it just give them more power over me? More often than not, the answer will be that engaging is not worth it. In addition to controlling your reactions, creating distance is also crucial. This could be physical distance, such as spending less time around them, or emotional distance, meaning that you detach from their opinions of you. Narcissists love to control how others see them and how others feel about themselves. They might use manipulation tactics like gaslighting to make you question your own reality. By stepping back and refusing to rely on their validation, you reclaim your own sense of self-worth. Faith and wisdom play a huge role in this approach. Many times people feel the urge to expose a narcissist because they want justice. They want others to see the truth about this person's manipulative ways. But Proverbs 26:04 advises us, "Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him." This means that engaging in their game only drags you down to their level. Instead of trying to force others to see the truth, trust that in time their true nature will reveal itself. Patience is key when dealing with a narcissist. Often their downfall is their own behavior. When you refuse to engage, when you do not react, and when you set clear boundaries without unnecessary drama, they lose their power over you. This frustrates them because they rely on controlling others to maintain their inflated self-image. By stepping back, you allow them to expose themselves through their own words and actions. Another crucial part of stepping back is focusing on your own well-being. It is easy to get caught up in the chaos a narcissist creates, but you must prioritize your peace. Spend time developing your emotional resilience, deepening your faith, and surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you. Instead of wasting energy on trying to make a narcissist see the truth, invest that energy into becoming stronger, wiser, and more grounded in your own values. Letting go of the need for validation from a narcissist is liberating. Many times people seek closure from them, wanting them to acknowledge their wrongdoings. But narcissists rarely, if ever, give genuine apologies. Waiting for them to admit their faults is a trap that keeps you emotionally tied to them. Instead, step back, focus on your own growth, and trust that the truth will come to light in its own time. At its core, stepping back is not about weakness, it is about strength. It takes immense self-control to walk away from a conflict that is designed to provoke you. It takes wisdom to realize that not every battle needs to be fought. And it takes faith to trust that justice will be served in the right time and in the right way. By choosing to step back, you do not lose. You win by protecting your peace, maintaining your dignity, and refusing to be controlled by someone who thrives on chaos. Setting boundaries with a narcissist can be one of the most challenging yet essential things you do for your well-being. Narcissists thrive on control, manipulation, and breaking down the personal limits of others. They test boundaries constantly, pushing until they find weaknesses they can exploit. If you want to protect your peace, mental health, and self-respect, you must set firm boundaries, but the key is doing it without unnecessary drama. One of the biggest mistakes people make when dealing with narcissists is over-explaining their boundaries. When you try to justify, defend, or explain why you are setting a boundary, you give the narcissist an opportunity to argue, manipulate, or guilt trip you into changing your mind. Instead of engaging in endless discussions, keep it simple and direct. A clear statement like, "I won't discuss this topic with you anymore," or "I am unavailable for that," is enough. You don't owe them a long explanation because narcissists don't respect logic. They only look for loopholes to get what they want. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is enforcing them consistently. Narcissists test limits to see how serious you are. If you set a boundary but then allow them to cross it without consequence, they learn that your words don't mean much. For example, if you say, "I will not tolerate being yelled at," but then continue the conversation when they raise their voice, they see that they can still get away with it. Instead, you must follow through. The moment they cross a boundary, act on it. If they yell, leave the room. If they disrespect you, cut the conversation short. Over time, they will learn that you are serious about your limits. One of the most powerful tools when dealing with a narcissist is emotional detachment. Narcissists want a reaction. They feed off emotional responses because it gives them a sense of control. When setting boundaries, remain calm and neutral. If they see that their usual tactics, anger, guilt, or manipulation, don't shake you, they lose some of their power. Your boundary should be stated in a way that leaves no room for negotiation, but without emotion that invites further conflict. Phrases like "that doesn't work for me" or "I am not discussing this," said in a calm and firm tone, send a clear message. It's important to expect pushback. Narcissists do not like boundaries because it limits their ability to manipulate and control. When you set a firm boundary, they may react with anger, passive aggressiveness, or even a victim act to make you feel guilty. They may say things like, "You're being selfish, you've changed," or "I guess you don't care about me anymore." Recognize these reactions for what they are, attempts to break down your limits. Stand firm, you are not responsible for their feelings, and you don't need to fix their discomfort. Boundaries should also include self-care. Many people get exhausted dealing with a narcissist because they are constantly drained by the emotional battles. Protect your energy by limiting exposure where possible. If this is a coworker, reduce unnecessary interactions. If it's a family member, decide what level of contact you are comfortable with. You don't have to completely cut someone off to set boundaries, but you do need to take control of how much access they have to your life. Another key element of boundary setting is refusing to engage in circular arguments. Narcissists love to pull people into endless debates that go nowhere. They twist words, change the subject, or bring up past issues to distract from the real problem. When you recognize this pattern, stop engaging. You do not need to win an argument with a narcissist to enforce your boundaries. Simply disengage and walk away. And not continuing this conversation is a complete response that requires no further explanation. One of the hardest parts of setting boundaries with a narcissist is dealing with guilt. If you are someone who naturally wants to help, fix, or keep the peace, enforcing boundaries can feel uncomfortable at first. But remind yourself that boundaries are not about hurting others. They are about protecting yourself. You are not being selfish. You are simply refusing to let someone mistreat you. It is not your job to manage their emotions, only your own. Ultimately, setting boundaries without drama requires a mindset shift. Instead of trying to get a narcissist to understand or respect your limits, focus on enforcing them regardless of how they react. This means learning to say no without guilt, disengaging from manipulative conversations, and prioritizing your peace over their approval. With time and consistency, boundaries become a powerful tool that shields you from unnecessary conflict and allows you to take back control of your life. When dealing with a narcissist, one of the biggest mistakes people make is spending too much time trying to change, expose, or fix them. This approach rarely works because narcissists are resistant to self-reflection and accountability. Instead of wasting energy on them, the best thing you can do is focus on your own growth. This means shifting your attention from trying to control the narcissist's behavior to developing your own emotional strength, wisdom, and peace. Personal growth starts with self-awareness. Many people who have been in relationships with narcissists, whether a partner, family member, or coworker, find themselves stuck in a cycle of frustration and emotional exhaustion. The first step in breaking free is understanding why you are affected by their behavior. Are you seeking validation from them? Do you feel responsible for fixing their issues? Are you tolerating mistreatment because of past conditioning? When you take the time to reflect on these questions, you gain clarity on where to redirect your energy. One of the most important aspects of focusing on your own growth is learning emotional detachment. Narcissists are skilled at provoking emotional reactions, whether through gaslighting, guilt-tripping, or playing the victim. They manipulate people into constantly thinking about them. When you decide to focus on yourself, you are making a conscious choice to stop letting their actions dictate your emotions. This doesn't mean ignoring the situation or pretending their behavior doesn't hurt. It means refusing to let them control your peace of mind. Developing emotional resilience is key. Instead of reacting to a narcissist's provocations, practice mindfulness and self-control. When they attempt to draw you into an argument, pause and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? More often than not, the answer will be no. Learning to walk away from conflict rather than engaging in pointless battles is a sign of strength. The less you react, the less power they have over you. Another crucial part of personal growth is setting and achieving your own goals. Narcissists often take up so much space in people's lives that they overshadow personal ambitions. If you have spent years prioritizing their needs, Now is the time to shift the focus back to yourself. Ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish? What makes me happy? What areas of my life need improvement? Whether it's advancing in your career, learning new skills, or improving your physical and mental health, setting personal goals helps you reclaim your sense of purpose. Self-care plays a huge role in focusing on your own growth. Many people dealing with narcissists experience chronic stress, anxiety, and even physical health issues due to the constant emotional turmoil. Taking care of yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. Prioritize activities that bring you peace, whether it's exercise, meditation, reading, or spending time with supportive friends and family. Surrounding yourself with positive influences makes it easier to distance yourself from negativity. Another powerful way to grow is by strengthening your faith and inner wisdom. Many people find comfort in spiritual practices that remind them of their worth and guide them toward a better path. When dealing with a narcissist, it's easy to feel lost, confused, or even question your own judgment. Seeking wisdom through prayer, reflection, or studying Scripture can provide the clarity and reassurance needed to move forward with confidence. Trust that God sees everything and that justice will come in His timing. An essential part of growth is learning to establish and maintain boundaries. If you have spent years being manipulated or controlled, setting firm boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first. But boundaries are not about punishing the narcissist. They are about protecting yourself. When you commit to enforcing them, you send a clear message that you will no longer tolerate mistreatment. Over time, this strengthens your self-respect and empowers you to make healthier choices in all areas of life. Healing from the effects of narcissistic relationships is also part of personal growth. Many people carry emotional wounds from their experiences, and it's important to acknowledge them rather than suppress them. Seeking support from a trusted friend, mentor, or therapist can help you process past hurts and build a stronger foundation for the future. The goal is not just to survive what you've been through, but to emerge wiser, stronger, and more self-assured. As you focus on your own growth, you will notice a shift in how you respond to the narcissist. Their words and actions will no longer have the same hold over you. You will begin to see their behavior for what it is, an attempt to control rather than a reflection of your worth. The more you invest in yourself, the less power they have over your life. Ultimately, personal growth is about reclaiming your energy and directing it towards something meaningful. It's about shifting from a mindset of frustration to one of empowerment. Instead of letting a narcissist drain your spirit, choose to build yourself up. Your happiness, success, and peace of mind are in your hands, and by focusing on your own growth, you ensure that no one else has the power to take them away. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you can use when dealing with a narcissist. Narcissists thrive on attention, drama, and emotional reactions. They seek to control conversations, dominate interactions, and provoke responses that fuel their sense of power. When you engage with them in arguments, try to defend yourself, or react emotionally, you are giving them exactly what they want. But when you choose silence, you take away their power. Many people believe that silence is a sign of weakness or avoidance, but in reality, it is a form of strength. Silence is not about ignoring or pretending that a narcissist's behavior doesn't exist. It is about refusing to participate in their manipulative tactics. It is a deliberate choice to disengage from their toxic energy and protect your own peace. Narcissists expect confrontation, and they are skilled at twisting conversations to suit their agenda. When you refuse to respond, they lose control over the narrative. One of the most effective ways to use silence is by practicing the gray rock method. This technique involves making yourself as uninteresting and unreactive as possible. When a narcissist tries to provoke you, instead of arguing or defending yourself, you give minimal responses. You avoid showing emotion, giving detailed explanations, or reacting to their attempts to start drama. You respond with short, neutral phrases like, "Okay, I see," or "That's interesting." Over time, they realize they are not getting the reaction they crave, and they often lose interest in targeting you. Another way silence can be powerful is in setting boundaries. Many people struggle with enforcing boundaries because they feel the need to explain themselves or get the narcissist to understand their perspective. However, narcissists do not respect logic or fairness. When you set a boundary, silence is often the best way to enforce it. If they try to argue, guilt trip, or manipulate you, simply do not engage. Walk away, change the subject, or remove yourself from the situation. The less you feed into their tactics, the stronger your boundary becomes. Silence is also effective in disengaging from circular arguments. Narcissists love to pull people into endless debates that go nowhere. They will twist your words, bring up unrelated issues, and refuse to acknowledge valid points. Engaging in these arguments only leaves you frustrated and exhausted. Instead of wasting your energy trying to win the argument, choose silence. If they keep pushing, say something like, "I'm not going to discuss this," and then stop responding. Without your participation, the argument loses its power. Another key benefit of silence is self-preservation. When you stop responding to a narcissist's provocations, you protect your emotional and mental well-being. Constantly defending yourself or proving your worth to someone who refuses to see it drains your energy. By choosing silence, you reclaim your power and focus on your own peace. Proverbs 26:04 wisely advises, "Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him." Engaging in their toxic games only drags you down to their level. Silence can also serve as a tool for observation. When you stop reacting and simply observe the narcissist's behavior, you gain clarity. You begin to see their manipulation patterns more clearly. You notice how they try to provoke you, how they shift blame, and how they seek validation. This awareness helps you detach emotionally and make wiser decisions about how to handle interactions with them. Instead of getting caught in their web, you step back and see the situation for what it truly is. In some cases, silence can be a form of consequence. Narcissists hate being ignored because their self-worth is dependent on controlling others. When you stop giving them attention, they may become frustrated or escalate their behavior to regain control. However, if you remain consistent in your silence, they will eventually realize that their tactics are no longer effective. This can lead them to back off or seek attention elsewhere. There is also great power in silence during the healing process. Many people feel the urge to confront a narcissist, demand apologies, or get closure. But narcissists rarely provide genuine closure because they do not take responsibility for their actions. Instead of chasing an apology that will never come, silence allows you to move on without needing their validation. True healing comes from within, not from their acknowledgement of wrongdoing. Ultimately, silence is not about weakness. It is about control. It is a choice to remove yourself from toxic dynamics and prioritize your well-being. It is a way to protect your peace, enforce your boundaries, and refuse to be manipulated. When you stop giving a narcissist the reaction they crave, they lose their ability to affect you. And that is where true freedom begins. When dealing with a narcissist, emotions can run high. Their manipulative tactics, gaslighting, and constant need for control can push you to react impulsively. However, reacting without careful thought often plays right into their hands. That is why seeking wisdom before acting is crucial. Instead of responding emotionally or engaging in their toxic games, taking a step back and approaching the situation with wisdom allows you to make choices that protect your well-being and prevent further harm. Wisdom begins with self-awareness. Before reacting to a narcissist behavior, take a moment to ask yourself what you are feeling and why. Are you feeling angry because they twisted your words? Are you feeling guilty because they are trying to manipulate you? Are you feeling frustrated because they refuse to acknowledge the truth? Recognizing your emotions before acting helps you avoid making rash decisions that you might later regret. When you take time to process what is happening, you gain clarity and can respond from a place of strength instead of emotion. A key aspect of wisdom is patience. Narcissists often create urgency, making you feel like you must respond immediately to their accusations, demands, or manipulations. They use pressure as a tool to control you. But wisdom teaches that not every situation requires an immediate response. Proverbs 19:11 states, "A person's wisdom yields patience. It is to one's glory to overlook an offense." Take a deep breath, pray, or seek advice before deciding what to do next. This simple act of slowing down can prevent unnecessary conflict and give you the upper hand. Seeking wisdom also means looking beyond the surface. Narcissists often disguise their true intentions with charm, fake concern, or emotional manipulation. They may pretend to be the victim, shift blame onto you, or use guilt to control your decisions. Instead of taking their words at face value, step back and evaluate the bigger picture. Ask yourself, what is their real motive? Are they trying to manipulate me? Have they done this before? When you learn to see through their tactics, you become less likely to fall into their traps. Another essential part of wisdom is knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. Not every battle is worth fighting. A narcissist thrives on arguments and drama. They want you to defend yourself, prove your worth, or engage in endless debates where they twist the truth. But wisdom teaches that sometimes the best response is no response at all. Proverbs 26:04 advises, "Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him." If engaging in a conversation will only lead to more chaos, it is wise to walk away. Seeking wisdom also involves seeking counsel. When dealing with a narcissist, it is easy to feel isolated or confused. Their gaslighting can make you question your own reality. That is why it is important to seek guidance from people you trust, whether it's a mentor, therapist, or someone with experience handling difficult personalities. Gaining an outside perspective can help you see the situation more clearly and make wise choices based on facts, not emotions. Wisdom also reminds us to focus on long-term consequences rather than short-term reactions. A narcissist may provoke you into acting out of anger only to later use your reaction against you. If you lash out, they will paint you as the unreasonable one. If you try to expose them, they will play the victim. Instead of falling into their trap, think ahead. What will happen if I engage? What is the best way to protect my peace? Sometimes the wisest decision is to distance yourself and let their actions speak for themselves. A significant part of seeking wisdom before acting is trusting in divine guidance. When faced with difficult situations, turning to prayer and Scripture can provide clarity and strength. James 1:05 encourages, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." Instead of relying solely on your own understanding, ask for divine wisdom to navigate the situation with grace and discernment. Ultimately, wisdom is about making decisions that serve your best interests, not feeding into the narcissist's control. It is about maintaining your dignity, protecting your emotional health, and refusing to be drawn into unnecessary conflict. By seeking wisdom before acting, you take back control. Not by fighting their games, but by refusing to play them at all. Walking away from a narcissist is one of the most powerful and necessary choices you can make when their behavior becomes harmful. Many people struggle with this decision because they feel obligated to stay, whether due to guilt, fear, or hope that things will change. However, wisdom teaches that sometimes the best way to protect your peace and well-being is to remove yourself from a toxic situation entirely. Walking away is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of self-preservation, strength, and wisdom. One of the biggest reasons people hesitate to walk away from a narcissist is the illusion of change. Narcissists are skilled at making false promises, showing temporary remorse, or using manipulation to make you believe things will get better. They may say they will change, that they finally understand your feelings, or that they cannot live without you, but these words rarely translate into real actions. The cycle of manipulation continues, and the moment they regain control, they return to their old behavior. If you find yourself in a pattern where nothing ever truly improves, it may be time to walk away. Another challenge is the fear of their reaction. Narcissists do not like losing control. And when you start pulling away, they may try to punish you with guilt-tripping, threats, or even smear campaigns. They might spread lies about you, try to turn others against you, or create drama to keep you engaged. This fear can keep people trapped in toxic relationships, but it is important to remember that their reaction is not your responsibility. They will act out, but if you remain firm and refuse to be drawn back in, their power over you will fade. A major reason to walk away is protecting your emotional and mental health. Narcissists drain your energy by constantly shifting blame, gaslighting, and creating unnecessary conflict. Over time, this can lead to anxiety, self-doubt, and even depression. When you remove yourself from their influence, you allow yourself the space to heal and regain clarity. Walking away is not about giving up. It is about choosing peace over chaos, self-respect over manipulation, and healing over continued harm. Setting boundaries is one way to prepare for walking away. Many people try to limit contact with the narcissist first, but when those boundaries are repeatedly disrespected, cutting ties completely may be the only solution. No contact is one of the most effective ways to break free from a narcissist's hold. This means blocking their calls, avoiding interactions, and not engaging in their attempts to pull you back in. If complete no contact is not possible due to shared responsibilities, such as co-parenting, then low contact with strict boundaries is necessary. Keep communication minimal, focused only on essential matters, and do not engage in emotional discussions. Another crucial aspect of walking away is accepting that you may never get closure. Many people stay in toxic relationships hoping for an apology, an acknowledgement of the pain caused, or a final conversation that provides clarity. However, narcissists rarely take accountability for their actions. Expecting closure from someone who refuses to accept responsibility only keeps you emotionally tied to them. Instead, focus on creating your own closure by understanding that their actions reflect who they are, not who you are. Walking away also requires rebuilding your sense of self. Narcissists often leave their victims questioning their worth, doubting their decisions, and feeling emotionally exhausted. Once you distance yourself, invest time in healing and rediscovering who you are outside of that toxic dynamic. Engage in activities that bring you joy. Surround yourself with supportive people and prioritize your well-being. The more you focus on your growth, the less hold the narcissist will have over you. Trusting in divine wisdom can also provide strength when walking away feels difficult. Proverbs 4:14-15 advises, "Do not set foot on the path of the wicked, or walk in the way of evildoers. Avoid it. Do not travel on it. Turn from it and go on your way." This verse reminds us that choosing to distance ourselves from toxic people is not just about self-care, it is about aligning ourselves with a healthier, more peaceful path. When you walk away, you are choosing to protect the life that God has for you rather than staying in a place of suffering and deception. Ultimately, walking away is not just about leaving a person. It is about leaving behind the cycle of manipulation, pain, and self-doubt they created. It is about reclaiming your life, finding freedom, and choosing to move forward with strength and wisdom. When you make the choice to walk away when necessary, you are not losing anything valuable. You are gaining the peace, clarity, and self-respect that you deserve.